Hey traders, it is Tuesday, November 24th. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth and joining us for another daily market recap. In today's video, we're going to discuss Dow hitting for the first time ever, hitting 30,000 as Biden has been given the green light to start transitioning to the White House after the Trump campaign officially authorized that last night. I did a video on how that's going to impact things like the solar sector and the cannabis space. So you can check that out and just search Trump, Biden, cannabis, November 23rd, and it should come up. But I'll also touch a little bit on some cannabis space stocks today as well. But before we do jump into the news and the charts, make sure to hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this perspective on the markets. So you can see that U.S. stocks rallied on Tuesday, hitting never before seen 30,000 level. This came after the Trump administration began the transitioning process for President-elect Joe Biden. And also after they named Federal Chair Janet Yellen to be Treasury Secretary. Many investors view Yellen as market-friendly pick, considering that she oversaw the U.S. central bank during a long economic expansion with historically low interest rates. She's also likely to push for further fiscal stimulus. So you can check that out on your own time, but seems bullish for the market, and the market responding very well today, heading up to test all-time highs. Bitcoin's testing all-time highs, gold consolidating like I've been calling out for a while now. If you've been tuning into this channel, we've been following the descending triangle, which I did a video yesterday as well, but we'll touch on that as well in just a second. But we saw that Pennsylvania certifies Biden win over Trump in the state. And Pennsylvania's Secretary of State on Tuesday certified the results of its presidential election, confirming that President-elect Joe Biden defeated President Donald Trump. Governor Tom Wolf announced in a tweet. Michigan certified its own vote tally, showing a win for Biden a day earlier. Trump campaign lawyers are waging a long, short legal fight to reserve Biden's win in Pennsylvania and elsewhere, as the president has refused to concede. So refusing to concede, but starting the transitioning process. So obviously, the solar sector and the cannabis space getting some love today. We'll take a look at some of those charts in just a moment, but checking in on crypto here real quick. So Bitcoin got as high as 19,476 here on Coinbase, it looks like. And Ethereum pushed over $600. Litecoin was over $90 there for hitting a high of 94. And Ripple, again, just showing off on the day. Absolutely crazy gains. There was a double bottom. I actually had a couple trades in Ripple today. Let's take a look here. Where was it? Right here. So we had essentially 5-minute trend change from a lower high and lower low into a 5-minute trend change. And I think I was looking at it. Yeah, I was on a different exchange here. Let's take a look. It's at Binance. So I had drawn this long-term uptrend line that we had here as well. You can see we were respecting that line. So on that flush here, probably triggered some stop losses, and we started to cross the EMAs. And then I saw that we were starting to cross back above them. We were getting tight on the Bollinger Bands, and I knew we had that support level to go off of. So I set my stop below 66. Never got stopped out, essentially came back down, tested that again into a new 5-minute higher low and higher high. And you can see that in a very short time, in 2 hours, a little under 2 hours, we were looking at 11%. So I just rode that up. I rode the 5-minute uptrend. And as soon as we lost the 5-minute uptrend right here at the low of 70.56, that's whenever I got triggered as a stop, and I was filled on one of those stops. And then you can see here we went into a 5-minute lower high and lower, and well, we're in an equilibrium at this point, but it looks like we're trying to go to a new lower low. EMA's just crossed bearish as well on Ripple, but congrats to the bulls. I said in the group yesterday, I'll just bring it up here. So I said, hide my face for a second. XRP Ripple up 100% from the daily trend change a few days ago, also in a monthly uptrend, first time since the all-time high. This is why uptrends are our friends. The more uptrends we have, the more confident we are buying dips and consolidation. Massive and crazy hype and euphoria. These raging bulls shouldn't be underestimated. Could see more pump from here, but I would be cautious. Could easily pull back 30 to 50%. So I said don't underestimate these bulls, and we could see a lot more upside from here. That was yesterday, and from that point we were up another 43%. So now we're outside of the daily Bollinger Bands. We're outside, well outside the weekly Bollinger Bands, and the monthly. We could be topping out here, looking pretty toppy. Just taking a look at some previous resistances. So we hit a high of 78.68. We did have resistance at 80 cents. So came within 2 cents. Could that be our temporary top? I'm not 100% sure, but it certainly looks like it. And based on the size of the pullback so far, I wouldn't be surprised to see that be the case. So taking a look at the weekly RSI is extremely overbought at 88. Monthly has to be close to overbought now, but huge volume. We saw that Coinbase also just spiked. I think it went up to 92 cents on Coinbase due to some illiquidity issues. That's where we stand on XRP. Looks like we're selling off a little bit here now. I knew we were getting a little toppy. So starting to sell off with some conviction here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin dropping to a lower low. Did confirm a 5-minute uptrend. Pretty brutal fake out there, and now starting to fumble and look to a lower low. But taking a look at the day, Riot was down 5%. Found that a little odd today that crypto was blasting and Riot was down, but maybe it knows something that we don't. But you can see we are just destroying it on some of these names, starting to pick up here now, some velocity to the downside. Hive up almost 20% today. XRP leading in terms of assets, digital assets. Bitcoin also up almost 10%. So if you would have entered yesterday with a stop below $1,800 or 18,000, sorry, you would have had a nice support level to go off of there. Just looking at that. So you can see here we held 18,000. So if you would have entered on that consolidation with a stop just below 18,000 psychological, you would have been rewarded heavily with a 7.5, 8% move. But just at this point, we didn't set an hourly higher low, so we were expecting pullback at some point, and the EMA 12 is starting to cross bearish here as well. Could cross through EMA 26, and that would potentially put us right back down to the 18,000s. But just looking for an hourly higher low. And we'll be confident. We have EMA 26 coming up there as a support test, so we'll see if that bulls can muster any steam up here shortly, because things are getting interesting at the moment. But as soon as we change the 15-minute trend, we can be confident in the hourly trend change. Start with the 5-minute, go from there. So make sure you have a plan. If you're in Bitcoin, we are near all-time highs. We've run extremely hard from the monthly high or low. We've ran over 100%, so we're well outside of the monthly Bollinger Bands. This bubble is for real. Could we keep going without much consolidation? Absolutely. We've been holding EMA 12 as a support guide since all the way back in October. And that'll be step number one. If we do not lose that, then bulls remain in full control of the daily and weekly and monthly chart as far as I'm concerned. So that's a pretty easy. If you're not in a trade, if you're looking to go short, maybe you enter on that, set an alert, or you use that as a support level to potentially enter a bullish trade on. maybe let me know in the comments below what you're eyeing. I'd like to, just hear from everybody, hear everybody's opinion on whether or not you think that this move could have some more legs to the upside, or whether or not we're due for some consolidation. Bring my face back there for you folks. So taking a look at SPY into the end of the day, there's not really much to report with SPY today. It was pretty much a slow grind up all day. We did see a little bit of sell volume into the end of the day, but given the fact that we have run, I think, about 5% in the last couple of days, 3%. So 3%, people likely just looking to lock in profit. We are nearing the 364.38 resistance as well. So that's obviously going to be a key level going into tomorrow. And we'll see if we do get a gap up, gap down, and see if key resistance comes into play tomorrow. But taking a look at the daily again, EMA 12 holding as support. Nice visual guide there on that daily high or low. You could have entered on the hourly trend change. You'd have been confident that the daily high or low is set. And you can see from that daily high or low being set, or hourly high or low rather, looking at 2.5%. So nice signal there and potential bullish entry. Congrats to the bulls. Taking a look at QQQ, up about the same, 1.5%. Little under. So SPY bulls a little bit more eager to buy the dips today, but pretty much the same thing with QQQ, a little bit further away from the all-time high. So SPY relatively stronger. We did have a hourly inside bar here at the end of the day, it looks like. We broke it by 1 penny, but we'll see the high of today and the high of yesterday is going to be key resistance going into tomorrow. If we can break that, then we'll be potentially looking up to 294.97, and the all-time high is not far. You got 299 and 303, I believe it was. So bulls are right there. Keep in mind though, we are getting pretty extreme in terms of the monthly chart. We were monthly overbought, and now we're starting to curl back down. Doesn't mean we have to go back down, but SPY also forming the broadening megaphone pattern here as well. But you can see that we're starting to blast outside of the resistance line that's been acting as resistance from all the way back in January of 2018. So we'll see how long bulls can maintain it, can maintain a range outside of that resistance. And we'll see if we potentially see any pullback. And at this point, it's not a complete, we can't rule it out at this point that this pattern may not play out, and we may come down to test support. Who knows when, but it should play out as per classical technical analysis theory, and a lot can happen very, very quickly. So just make sure that you have a game plan if if shit hits the fan, for lack of a better word. So what else do we have on the list for today? Excuse me while I have a drink of some type of tea. I think it was Mojito Explosion. Absolutely delicious. Taking a look, yeah, so a little bit of red, green. We have XLE leading out, standing out from the pack. US oil up over 4% today. IWM up almost 2% today. So nothing, everything pretty much up 1-2% across the board. But the energy sector has just been on fire lately. Hyping off of the cure. So taking a look at SPY. So SPY in the hourly chart, we could be looking at an hourly bull flag here as well. So most important support on the hourly is going to be down here at 362.32. So moving on to some individual tickers. NKLA up 17% today. So the EV FOMO train continues. Could be potentially setting up for a cup and handle on the weekly as well. You can see we're getting back above the EMA 12 and 26 moving average period, exponential period. And we could be setting up for a bull cross there as well. Just take a look at DDD up almost 10%, so 3D data systems. Tesla up 6.5%-ish. So congrats to the bulls, well outside of the daily Bollinger Band. The top of the daily Bollinger Band has been acting as support. You don't see that too often, but there's a reason why Elon Musk is also now the second richest man in the world. That's just absolutely crazy. So congrats to the bulls. All-time highs, blue sky breakout. Ain't no stopping these Tesla bulls. EMA 12 holding on the hourly. Not even close to EMA 12 on the daily. So this is some crazy, crazy euphoria in the markets. You can see that we're lasting to new highs over the 10-week moving average. MACD and stochastic is crossed bullish as well. We crossed bearish back here in October for the first time since March, but didn't really get much follow through. But keep in mind that we want to see it close this. We want to see it close with the MACD and the stochastic cross bullish and above the 10-week moving average by the end of the week. If that remains the case by the end of the week, then we can print that and be confident that we're due for a lot more upside. But that's the weekly chart, so we'll want to see us close above that on the weekly and maintain those indicators bullish as well. SPY well above its 50, 100, and 200. QQQ well above. Tesla should be well above. These bulls are absolutely impressive. So that's where we stand. We're still seeing lots of FOMO, basically rotation out of tech. Apple was up a little over 1% today, but we're still seeing rotation out of tech, in my opinion, and into high-flying names like Tesla and just huge hype names. We're still looking at potential weekly head and shoulders on Amazon as well. We saw that gold had the, where is that gold chart? So we saw that gold had broken out of the weekly descending triangle. And I said in the video that I expect in yesterday's daily market recap, I expect that we could see an EMA bear cross of EMA 12 through the 26 period. And we also had no support on the weekly until 1670. We also have a monthly, go all the way back here and draw a monthly uptrend, it looks like as well, but I'm just going to use price levels. But the measured move as well from this descending triangle takes us down here to about 1670, which is also weekly support. But we could bounce in the 17 or the 1750 range, might get a little extreme before we get to that weekly support level at 1670. But I would consider anything right around 17.5 to 1670 the buy zone, and really patient bulls maybe, or really aggressive bears may be shorting it to down here, hoping that we overshoot and get some fear into the markets. But certainly not ruling this out. This is very notable that gold is breaking down while SPY and Bitcoin are testing all-time highs. Could this be could this be some insight into what to expect in the overall broader markets? It could very well be, we don't know, but keeping an eye on some other clues. You can see silver also breaking down. So even with the new Secretary of the new Treasury appointee from Biden and expecting more stimulus, we're not seeing any love to the metals, but Bitcoin obviously getting all the attention, but looking like silver wants to follow gold, and whether or not we see Amazon follow in gold's footsteps and break to a bearish downside of a weekly head and shoulders, that would be very bearish. It would take us down to around the 2200 range, 2300 range as a measured move. But that's pretty much where we stand on those individual names. I did want to take a look at Canadian MJ. So I said in my video yesterday that the Canadian cannabis space would probably benefit more than the US space in the short term based on this news. And that's exactly what we saw today. We saw Aurora leading the way up with 28% move, Tilray up 17%, TGOD up 11%, Hexo up 10%, Cron up just over 9%, and CGC up over 9% as well, APHA 7%. We saw Oxley down 16%, so not sure what was going on there. Got to be news related. 10 million bought deal public offering, yep. So looks like they had some dilution news. So I sold all of my Oxley actually for some huge gains. And again, when a stock is nearing its all-time low, or it's had an all-time low, you need to be skeptical of any moves, because, and especially if they need money, so you need to look into their financials, you need to know their cash position, you need to know their revenues. Are they profitable? Do they have EBITDA positive? Are they EPS positive? And if not, and they're near an all-time low and their share price runs 100, 200, 300%, don't be expected if you see some dilution news to come down the pipeline, right? So just things you need to be aware of. OGI is another one. I'm not 100% sure of their cash position, but just something that I'd be on the lookout for. I know Hexo has about $189 million in cash, so they should be good for at least a couple of quarters. And they have the partnership with Molson Coors, so they don't have to take all of that burden from the beverages on by themselves either. And the majority is owned by Molson Coors, so they would obviously have some financial support there as well from Molson Coors Canada. That's pretty much where we stand. Hexo got the daily bounce going today. Just gonna filter this here, CGC. So CGC, obviously daily bounce still underway as well, holding EMA 12. So again, EMA 12 coming into play a lot here, and a potential cup and handle here as well on the daily. We did break resistance of 26.95. We had a high of 27.70 and ended up being a bull trap at the top of the daily Bollinger Band. But again, when we're in monthly, weekly, and daily uptrends, you need to be, you can't be afraid to buy the dips if you're a bull, because time and time again, we've been rewarded. We've been holding EMA 26 from all the way back here at $13. And you can see that EMA 12 has been rock solid support as well since we closed, but held 26 support, EMA 26 support. So we're over 26.95, so we'll just zoom out here a little bit. Next one we have is 28.89 on the daily, but bulls want to get as much of a bounce here as possible and create as much space, get as close to that resistance, form a higher low compared to 23.42, and then look to break that resistance. I think that's probably what is needed at this point. Obviously, if we see some more news coverage, that type of thing, it could change things. But as of right now, I think that the most likely scenario would be a little bit of some consolidation. Maybe we push a little bit higher and then we pull back 5 or 10%, set a daily high or low, and then we advance. But weekly, still didn't really set a weekly high or low from this move, so that's notable as well. We're now outside of the weekly Bollinger Bands on CGC. Just take a quick look at APHA, same deal outside of the Bollinger Bands, but difference with APHA is it's in a weekly uptrend. We had a low at 417, higher low here, and then high at 644, higher low at 431 into a higher high, so weekly uptrend. Outside of the Bollinger Bands, Cron, weekly uptrend, Hexo, still still pretty choppy at this point. So we did have a low, high, higher, low, higher, high into an uptrend, but we broke down, lost the uptrend into a new low. And this move's all coming off. We're just looking to set a weekly higher low as well now at 73. We hit a low of 73.40, 70.50. So 70 is going to be the key level to hold here going forward. And we have resistance up at 109 and then 129. But we're looking good on the Hexo chart. You can see today as well, we topped out at the daily resistance and the EQ from the range that we were watching prior to their earnings. So you can see here we had a high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high, bear break. And then that's when we had the bearish earnings reaction straight into a bounce on the daily with a higher low and higher high, change the daily trend. And now we're just looking to set a daily higher low. We did have a little bit of a daily lower high and lower low, but we didn't really get much follow through. So I'm not going to consider that a daily downtrend. And it looks like our daily higher low is now set as we have changed the hourly trend. Now we're just looking for an hourly higher low. Could be a potential equilibrium as well. See if we get a bit more of a tightening range. But that was absolutely perfect. You can see today, if you would have sold at that 85, just rebought if we broke above 80, say 86, 87, and we topped out at 85 right after the bell rang, and you could have easily picked up shares about 5 cents cheaper. So this is why we continue to monitor these levels from a previous daily equilibrium pattern, and especially when we overshot, when we got crushed 25% and then jump 100% based on that Biden news, 94%-ish. So obviously Canadian MJ stood out today. And I think, again, that's because of them being listed on higher exchanges. You can see that TrueLeave got very close. Did it set a new? It did set a new all-time high. But again, not that impressive in terms of percentage-wise move. You can see it was only up 5%. On the day, the biggest mover we had was on my watch list. I'm not even sure what this one is, BioHarvest. Up 12.5%. MJNA, almost 10%, but obviously Canadian MJ was the winner from the Biden transition news. And again, ACB leading the charge. You might be wondering, why is that the case? Again, we pulled back from the relative high about 55%, and it was a very similar situation to Hexo. We hadn't got the daily bounce underway in about 9 or 10 trading sessions. So very similar to Hexo. And the pattern to be looking out for was the break of the daily lower high. We had a lower high every single candle. So as soon as we broke the high of yesterday, today, we knew to be looking out for the daily bounce. We had the gap up, so trapped people. I knew that was probably the way that, so I swung it a very, very big position in Hexo, and just expecting a decent bounce in the stock. We've seen some huge momentum from all the way back in March and the low of 34 cents. So lots of room to grow, I think, for Hexo. I think their earnings report is going to be extremely bullish as well on December 16th, which is coming up here in a little under a month. I know that a lot of stores, Nova Cannabis in particular, they sell a lot of Hexo products, and right now they do not have any canopy growth products. So I'm expecting a lot of market share and a lot of drinks to be, well, they're already the #1 beverage, cannabis infused beverage, producer and seller, but I think it'll be even more so now that people are starting to hear more about them. There's more products available. The products haven't even really been available for that long, but that earnings report is going to be for the period ending October period end. So that means that we'll have sales from all of October and September, and we should have, so I think they released the drinks. They started to release the drinks in the summertime. So in late August, I think it was. So we'll say 2 full months likely of drinks on the books. And remember that that's a partnership with Molson Coors. So a lot of that profit is being divvied up between the two, but certainly looking forward to how we break from here, because we're holding very, very well. We did fill that gap in the chart. So could it be a potential gap and go? Love to see another potential cup and handle here as well. Go straight up to test 109 resistance. Just curious what Hexo after hours price is at the moment. We're sitting at 80. And CGC up a little over 0.5% here after hours as well. So this is my theme into 2021 and the end of 2020. Start to load up. I'm going to, right now I'm heavy on US. I don't have any positions in US cannabis space, in the US cannabis space right now. I'm all invested into the Canadian LPs. And again, I think that's because of the capital being able to access registered exchanges. I know for myself, I wouldn't be buying OTC tickers. I'd be usually buying them on the CSE because I'm in a registered account. So if you have that similar situation, and a lot of other people are in that boat as well, they can't really buy on the OTC unless it's in a margin account. And that's just not, it doesn't open the floodgates. So I'm personally going with the Canadian LPs, and then I'll slowly start to transition over to the US once we start to see some general direction on the consolidation. I think it was a little bit over, it was a little bit more than I expected in terms of a pullback, especially in True Leaf. So we're now at the all-time high, testing it and looking to hit blue sky breakout. So if we can break to new highs, then I'll start to slowly start to scale into the US MJ stocks. But again, it's going to take time before, you know, banking reforms and institutions are able to move that capital and invest. So that's pretty much where we stand from here. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Make sure to like the video. I'd appreciate it. And consider subscribing to the channel. Tick the bell, you'll be notified when I go live tomorrow. So with that, we'll see you tomorrow for another daily market recap. Hope everyone has a great night and take care.